stuff was destroyed. Women was being pushed. People was running out the door. It was one way in. It was many doors, but see, when you in a panic, you forget all that. People was running. Kids were crying. Kids were going under the table because somebody was like, "He got a gun. He got a gun," and police came, and the police gonna say, "This is what the police say." Welcome to Unwrapped Real Talk with the Black Hijabi. I am your host, Mariam Kava, and we're back with another episode. I feel like it's been a long time since I've seen you guys or you guys heard from me. But you might see me on IG, y'all might see me on TikTok, but just sitting down with you guys, it's been a minute because y'all know we just got finished with Ramadan. Okay. Ramadan, I first want to give you guys my Ramadan reflection. Okay. Ramadan was this year, I feel like I took it very serious. Took it more serious than I have since last year. Because last year I feel like I was laxed. Um, I wasn't as serious with my creator. I wasn't locked in with my creator. I feel like this year I wanted to gain more knowledge. I wanted to read more Quran. I wanted to do more zikr. I wanted to just have a closeness with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I believe I achieved that this year. So in the beginning, I started off very strong. And I wanted to I had set goals for myself in order to, like, I wanted to achieve certain goals. So the first goal, of course, was to do 1,000 astaghfirullah every day, zikr. So I did 1,000 astaghfirullah every day, and I realized 1,000 astaghfirullahs is not as hard as we believe it to be. It's really easy, but it was just being intentional with what I was doing. And it came to a point where I even did Islamic trivia, and I got Islamic trivia cards, and I was learning as I was giving the people the same thing, and I was giving them a chance to win some money on my show. So I was doing Islamic trivia at the same time I was learning with everybody else as well. Um, it was a lot of different things that happened during that month that now that we're at the end of it, I was like, it went by so fast because we say 30 days, but 30 days is such a short a period of time, but it also is life changing. And I'm not the same person that I was going in that I am going out of it, right? So one of the things that I feel like is different about me is that just the patience and understanding, like, timing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like, if something is like I get canceled on, right? Because I do a show and something happens, I have to learn to roll with the punches, right? And understand that what Allah wills is what's gonna happen, and whatever doesn't happen, it just doesn't happen because He doesn't want it to happen. It's not meant for it to be, right? Another thing is you cannot make too much dua. Okay, so I felt like last year the reason why I was so lax in my worship was because when I felt like what I made in, what was that, 2022, the prayers and the du'as that I made, I was living in 2023. And I didn't want to feel like, in a sense of, I was asking for too much and I wasn't grateful. So it was almost just me just thanking Allah and not so much of asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for anything. So this year, I was at my local masjid and my imam had said a comment. He said, during the lecture, he said, you can never make too much dua. You can never ask Allah for too much. You can never make too much istikhar. You can never make too much, you can never worship Allah too much. Like, don't be afraid to worship Allah. Don't be afraid to ask for what you want. Even if you ask 1,000 times, continue to ask, right? So the main thing of what I accomplished this year is just not being afraid to ask Allah for things. Like, people used to ask for kingdoms back in the day. They would ask for whole kingdoms. What is my little, what I'm asking for is minute. It's small. It's nothing compared to what Allah can give to me. So I was like, I just need to go in on my worship. I need to go in on my prayer. I need to worship more. I need to go in more. And I wanted to be in the masjid as well. I wanted to be around my community because, the thing about, even when you are in this religion, community is so important. Surround yourself with people that are doing the same thing. And even though it may be a sinner that sins all day year long, it may be a person that doesn't practice during Ramadan, you're going to find them in the masjid. We're going to talk, we're going to laugh, we're going to be in there, we're going to be on the same level playing field where all of us are fasting, all of us are worshiping, all of us are weeping to Allah. And that's the main thing. Like when you're able to pray with your prayer and you have your hands out in your and you're asking Allah for forgiveness, we're all on the same thing because we know that none of us are perfect. None of us. So it's amazing when you go to the masjid. So I feel like I locked in so much more, and I feel like I've gotten closer with my Muslim sisters and closer with my Muslim brothers, and that was the main. Like I remember during Eid, right? And I'm fast forwarding a little bit, and I'm gonna go back, but during Eid, I probably would just get messages from my family, and now I have Muslim sisters and Muslim brothers that they're texting me Eid Mubarak. Like that is it. It was a silent goal of mine. It was a silent dua of mine that I asked for, and that Allah Subhanahu wa Taala has given me this year. That some may overlook. Some may not have paid attention to that, but I remember I had people that would send me Merry Christmas because everybody that I was around was Christian. Everybody that I was around was nobody I was around was Muslim. So when my Eid would come up, no one would send Eid Mubarak. But now I have surrounded myself with a circle of people now that will send me Eid Mubarak, and we're sending du'as back and forth with each other, and that is so important to me. And it was so important to me. And now that I'm actually living in it, I say Alhamdulillah. I say Alhamdulillah for what Allah Subhanahu wa Taala has allowed me to witness. I'm able to see my dua come into fruition. Alhamdulillah. Okay, so I want to go back into the last 10 days of Ramadan. And the last 10 days I had to lock in. So I wasn't so much on social media. I just wanted to go into and just build the relationship with my Lord because it was so important to me. I know how important the last 10 days of Ramadan are, and that's when people are giving up. The last 10 days, it will make or break you, and it can change your whole entire life. Like Laylatul Qadr can land on any day. Everybody say it lands on the 27th day. But we never know the day. So I just was like, I gotta just worship every day, every night, and just go in on my worship. People were saying, "Where are you? What are you doing?" I'm worshiping Allah. Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, like we don't get this. He asks us for these 30 days, and we have to sacrifice for these 30 days. Like because I know exactly what can change. I've seen it happen in 2022. So why not lock in? All right. So I was like, I gotta go in. Like I'm not playing when it come down to my last 10 days. And then the last, the 6 days of Shawwal, that's another thing. But yeah, the 6 days and the last 10 days. So in the last 10 days, I remember when I was first going into the masjid, the first 20 days or so, I was telling my mom, like, I'm not really feeling this because I like to cry. Like, one thing about me, Taraweeh, I need the reciter, I need to cry. I need to feel what you're saying. I need to feel the prayer. I need to feel it in my heart, my being, my everything. And my mother had to remind me, like, you're going to feel it when it's almost gone. You're going to feel Ramadan when we have to say bye, right? And at first I was like, man, no, I need to feel it regardless of and then the last 10 days hit and I'm like, nah, I'm feeling it because we're not going to get this time back. What people don't talk about post-Ramadan and how people just fall back, And I'm talking about even myself, like the fear of that I feel is falling back into probably old ways that I've had and not doing the right thing, The one thing that I want to always continue to be consistent with my prayer and not, I'm going to pray, but I want to pray on time. I want to pray as soon as the Adhan goes off. May Allah make it easy for me and all of us that when the Adhan goes off and when it's time to pray, we go straight into worship and asking Allah and worshiping Allah and not delaying our prayer as though we would pray during Ramadan on time, right? So that's one of the things that people don't talk about post-Ramadan is like We stayed consistent all this while. We stayed consistent and we were doing the right thing. And then now we're going to go fall back into the old times and old things that we used to do. And one of the biggest things is like your prayer and your worship and zikr too. Like, to Aju too. Like, don't fall backwards on your worship when you right now you're praying on time, right? We wanted to stay consistent. And I see that a lot of people was wearing the hijab, a lot of people was wearing abaya, a lot of people were wearing henna, a lot of people were wearing modest clothing. Guys, I want you guys to know that modest clothing, hijabs, abaya, henna, is not just for Ramadan. Supporting Muslim business is not just for Ramadan. You could support Muslim business outside of Ramadan. So if you were supporting that Muslim brand or, whatever it may have been, don't stop because Ramadan is over. They still need your support, right? So I was thinking about, even the henna. I have a little henna left on my nails, right? And, at a time, even if you want to wear press-ons and it's a Muslim sister that's selling press-ons, go buy press-ons because, our prayer is not valid with fake nails, with acrylics on. So one of my things are now press-ons or I do henna. Henna is not just for the month of Ramadan. You can go and do henna, go and wear hijab, go and wear abaya outside of Ramadan and support that Muslim sister or Muslim brother. So I just wanted to say that because I think people have this misconception, or not even that misconception. Sometimes I think people have that what's the word for it? I want to say probably just not an ignorance, but just they're not thinking about it. You're not thinking about supporting that brand, but in the month of Ramadan, it's like a parent to. So you go eat halal food, like you're supporting Muslims more than ever, right? The same way about the masjid. Every year, my imam says the same exact thing. He says, I pray and I make dua that the way the masjid is full during Ramadan, it's consistent throughout the year. That we continue to support the local masjids all year long. In the month of Ramadan, the Fajr is packed, Taraweeh is packed, Maghrib is packed, Isha is packed. We're packed in there like sardines. And then the week after Ramadan and after Eid prayer is over, everybody goes back to their normal lives. But it is okay, and I want to say this, like, let's continue to support and to continue to do what we were doing in the month of Ramadan. And that's not even so much of just, okay, going in and no, it's the smallest support in that Muslim brand, that Muslim sister's brand or that Muslim brother's brand, whether it be a hoodie, whether it be shirts, whether it be abayas, whether it be hijabs, whether it be bazin fabric, whether it be books. It's a lot of authors that I know that are coming out with new books. Go purchase them. It's a lot of sisters that do henna. They're booked and busy during the month of Ramadan, and then after that people fall off. But henna is an all year thing. You can wear henna if you want your hands to look a little cute, a little pretty. Go get your henna done. Okay, so I just wanted to say that as well. Another thing that I wanted to reflect on is that, the same patience that you had during the month of Ramadan, try to have after the month of Ramadan. One of my biggest things is road rage. And it wasn't not eating. It wasn't not listening to music. It wasn't leaving out the backbiting or gossiping. It was cursing people out in traffic. That was one of my biggest things that I had to battle with because I drive for a living. And if you drive for a living, you know how irritating it can be, how some of the drivers drive on the road. So that was one of my things that I asked Allah for patience for, okay? Everybody might have their own personalized goal that they had to work on. Mine's was in traffic, okay? Not cursing out the driver in front of me or behind me on the side of me that don't know how to drive, okay? That was one of the things. Okay, and I wanted to say this too, as far as, the debate on our clothing and the way people dress, it was all over the internet as far as like the fabric of bazin, I wanted to touch bases on it a little bit. And this is exactly why I have on Bazin now, right? My Bazin that I have on right now, okay, is a fabric that I made into this dress like this. And as you can see, it's very modest, right? Some people may create their dress and they'll go get their fabric, and it may not be very modest, right? But one thing I know is that everybody's in different parts of the Quran. Some people are still in Baqarah. Some people have all the way got to Nas. Some people are in the middle. We don't know where people are, you know? So what I like to do is just give a lot of, I give a lot of patience, because it's a lot of, this religion is very tough, and we have to learn to give patience and give mercy to everybody. Nobody's perfect. And when it comes down to our culture, where and how we, you know, our culture, African culture is African culture. Arab culture is Arab culture. Everybody got their own culture on how they do things. Like, you got soul food, you got cassava leaf, you got everybody has their own way of doing things. But that doesn't take away that we all worship one Allah. We worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're one ummah at the end of the day. If you want to learn something, it's so simple to ask that sister or ask that brother, what is this about? Why do they do this? What's going on with this? You know, but to condemn a whole fabric without knowing it, without the knowledge of Bazin, is crazy, crazy work. So I just made sure I wore my Eid outfit. This is not my Eid outfit. I didn't wear this for Eid, but I wore this for Eid a couple years back, matter of fact. I wore lace this year, but I wore Bazin this year. And everybody looked so beautiful. Eid. One thing about Eid, what I also learned this year about Eid, because it was a lot of violence, gun violence this year. It was some gun violence, and it wasn't so much of gun violence like just in one particular place. Okay, it was some violence, and what I have reflected on was the Shaitan was lurking. He was lurking Eid. He was lurking Eid, and he was looking for any weakness in anybody. He was looking for the person that wanted to get high. He was looking for the person that wanted to take a drink after. He was looking for the person that after had plans to go to the club. He was looking at any weakness in the link to now play with and now disrupt the whole situation. And you have to be diligent and you have to be on your toes, because what I was letting people know was, y'all, it's Eid. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Understand now, the Shaitan is not locked up no more. He's out, he's lurking, and he's ready. He's going to come harder than he ever has come because he's been locked up. He wasn't free. So all that peace and all that kumbaya and everybody was together is now over, because now the Shaitan is free and he can use you. And without knowledge and without being in the proper wudu at this proper time and in the remembrance of Allah, you can get bamboozled and tricked out of your position. A lot of people got tricked out of the position, arguing, and next thing you know, people was fighting, and it happened at an event I was at. Event that I went to, it was Shaitan started lurking, a gun got pulled, people were running out. This is the day of Eid. This is the day of Eid. And I said, next time I'm getting my food like I usually do. Usually I get my food, right? I eat, I take a nice long nap, I wake up and I pray Asr, and I'll go about my day. But I don't think I will ever go to an event again, because I feel like it's too many souls, it's too many people, and people don't, it's just too much going on. It was too much going on. And not only where I was, but in Philly, not only where I was, but in Philly, but other places where Shaitan was lurking. That was all Shaitan. That was Shaitan using people. And then now look back and being like, what's going on? It was like mayhem. It was like mayhem. And what was going on, because they wasn't sticking on their toes. They didn't understand what was going on. Shoot, I was like, say A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. I'm telling people that was in the mix of fights, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Understand that this is not you. The Shaitan is using you. You've been at peace all month. You fasted these days. Now the Shaitan is free. Now he lurking. This is how he was looking. Just like Jaws. That's how he was, just looking for the weakest link. And whoever he got was so weak and didn't understand what was going on and really fed into him. And then, stuff was destroyed. Women was being pushed. People was running out the door. It was one way in. It was many doors, but see, when you in a panic, you forget all that. People was running. Kids were crying. Kids were going under the table because somebody was like, "He got a gun. He got a gun," and police came, and the police gonna say this is what the police say. To this day, I'm laughing because it's not funny, but the day the police came and said, we don't care about anything. We just care who has a gun. And it's like, if someone has a gun, right? I'm just saying, are they gonna say, I got a gun? Like, are they gonna say that? Or are they just gonna be like, are they just gonna be like, what do you know what I'm saying? Like, when the police came, it was like, what's going on? Anyway, got out of there. I learned my lesson. Shaitan is out lurking after Eid, and we gotta be steadfast. Okay, we gotta be on our ones and our twos at all times because they never know when Shaitan will become creeping out the corner, and then when he leave you, you sitting there and regret. That's because that's how you know the Shaitan has used you, right? Because after you have done something, you are sit in regret. When you are just in your actions, believe me, if you worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you are just in your actions, you will not feel a sense of regret in what you just did. But when the shaitan has used you, you will be in a state of regret and you will be playing back the scenario over and over and over again. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. And to avoid that, know that know what the shaitan will do. Okay? Because Allah knows best. We don't when you were in peace, you're not doing frivolous arguments. When you are at peace, you're not doing really too much. When you are at peace, it's not too much like you just not raising your voice, like it's not too much of that. And with that, like that's how you know when someone is at peace, because they're not doing too much back and forth. They just want to get themselves aligned, they want to get themselves together. you know they learn to understand that people are people and people are always going to be people. You can't change people. You can't think that people are going to operate the same way you're going to operate. That's another thing I had to reflect on. People are not going to do what you would do. You may be loyal to the soil, but that don't mean they're going to be. Some people are only loyal to themselves. That's what I had to learn as well. But that doesn't mean I'm going to change who I am to suit just because this person is not being loyal or this person is not a good person. No, I've learned to understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always going to bless. He's going to bless you regardless. He's not going to bless you from the person that you helped or the person that you changed their life. It's going to come randomly from somebody else or randomly from something else. You never know when your blessing is going to come from. But most of the time, it never comes from who you already helped. It never comes from that. Okay? So that's another thing. Choosing to understand that is one of the best things. I wanted to say something else that I've actually wanted to touch bases on is our parents. Right? I talk to a lot of reverts and they're talking about the relationship with their parents and how, their parents have stopped talking to them. And their parents don't communicate with them anymore because they're Muslims, or their family doesn't have much to say to them because they're Muslims. Um, I wanna say that Allah guides whom He wills. Continue to stay who you are and continue to be the peace that you are, because you never know. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the turner of hearts. You never know that He might change the ideas of your mother. You never know He might change the ideas of your father. He might change the idea of your sister, or He might give you some sisters in the deen. He might give you no one can replace your mother, but He might give you a woman a woman that is like a motherly figure. Either He'll change your mother or He'll give you a motherly figure. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never take away something without replacing it with something better, right? So the main thing that you want to do, and for my reverts, I commend you guys, and I always will commend you guys. A lot of my audience is reverts, and that's why I'm more my approach to Islam is a little not lax, but I'm speaking to somebody who just took their shahada a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, probably a year ago, probably 2 years ago. So it's a little different how I approach things. And I understand and I hear you guys when y'all talk about your family. Because although I'm a born Muslim, I say this often. Um, you're gonna be looked at as an extremist when you go towards your deen. When you put deen over dunya, you're gonna be left out a lot. You're gonna feel alone a lot because people will push you toward places that you don't want to go no more. You don't want to party no more. You don't want to. You're not going to the clubs. You're not going to the lounges. You're not doing that anymore, and you're gonna feel alone at the time. But always remember that you have Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. You have Allah always. He's always with you. So when you get invited, and trust me, I've been there. I say this from experience. Okay, I say this from experience. I say it from an experience mindset, from experience because when I was first, getting on my deen, people would be like, "Girl, what you trying to do that for?" I can't even be around it no more. I can't be around drinking. Like not that I can't be around. Like I'm gonna be tempted or something. Like I can't be around it because it's just like I just know the jinn is around when that's around. Like I know that it could easily cause to other things. Like I just don't want to be around it. I want to be in a place where I can pray, where I can worship Allah, and I can be in the remembrance of Allah always. And if I'm not in the remembrance of Allah, then I can't be around you. If I'm not in the remembrance of Allah, I can't go there. If I'm not in the remembrance of Allah, then I just got to be left out of there. That's just what I have to do. And as a revert, that's what you got to understand. Like, you're choosing your Lord over everything. You're choosing your Lord over everything. And when you choose your Lord over everything, best believe you will never go without. You're going to feel sad, but it's only going to be for a moment. You're going to be sad, but don't sit in it too long. Don't sit in it too long. You're going to have some people, friends that you had for years. They're going to stop talking to you. Friends that you had for years, because you're going to look like an extremist a little bit. You're going against the West. The West is like, show your hair, look, show your body off, look good, Not saying we don't look good when we wear hijab, but I'm saying like the West, we going against the whole Western everything, like what they do. And when you choose modesty, or when you choose to cover your hair, or when you just choose to pray 5 times a day, when you choose to go against what the majority is, you're gonna get the pushback from people. And that's only normal. But eventually you'll stop hearing it and you'll hear the Quran more. You'll hear Hadith more. You hear the people around you more, like the Muslim brothers and sisters around you more. You're gonna go around people that worship and go to Jumu'ah. Like those are the biggest things. Like it's just understanding that yes, I'm losing these family members, and it's tough. I've lost family members, and I ain't even lose. Like they're not gone. We just don't speak because we're not on the same timing. We're not on the same frequency. We're not on the same energy, and that's okay. I've lost friends that I've had for years. Why? Because we're not on the same frequency. We're not on the same time. And when you let go of something for the sake of Allah, Allah replaces it with something way better. Remember that, okay? For my reverts. Um, I got some good stuff coming up. Okay, I want y'all to know that. Good energy, way more guests, good vibes coming up. I want y'all to also, one of the biggest things that I want y'all to do is start to I don't with Quran, don't leave you if you read a page a day, it take the stress away. A page of Quran, just one page. I'm not saying read to just one page of Quran a day and see how you look at things completely different. The vibe will be different. Everything will be different. Your whole feeling will be feeling different. Just continue to do that. Like just vibe with that. And for my reverts and just for my people in general, continue to just stay on your deen. Don't fall off. And if you do fall off, fall back on. Fall back on. It's tough. Ramadan is over. Post-Ramadan, it's over. I was feeling a little sad, a little depressed. It's gone. I'm like, dang, everybody just going back. We not, you know. I had somebody tell me like, all right, we done with that Islamic trivia now. I said, dang, why we can't do Islamic trivia forever? Like, I love Islamic trivia. If you got an Islamic trivia card brand, let me know in the comments below because I would like to purchase an Islamic trivia card game for y'all. I love those. I feel like it's the easiest way to learn about Quran. It's the easiest way to learn about surahs and the prophets. Um, It's the best. It's the best. Like I learned so much with the Islamic trivia. So that's another thing. Hijabs, abayas. If you got any hijabs and abayas, hit up your girl. Okay, hit up your girl. Um, hit me up. What's another thing? Henna businesses. Hit me up. I seen if you got incense, hit me up. You got the incense. Support the incense girls too. The girls that got the incense. The girls who got the oils. The a brand. I'm sorry, I forgot. Sorry, I forgot about the brand, but I'm sorry. But he sent me this amazing perfume, and I have it. I got it on my TikTok. An amazing oil. Make sure you guys are supporting the oil businesses, the perfume businesses. Again, this is imperative, guys. This is so important to do this. Like I know I can't talk about this enough. But anyway, that's my Ramadan reflection. I want you guys to follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok, uh, subscribe and like to my YouTube. Wherever you listen to your local podcast, that's where I am. You're gonna find me there. Um, and what else? What else did I want to say? I probably had something else to say, but I can't think of it right now. Anyway, choose happy. Oh yeah, guys, and let me tell y'all how much I'm dedicated. I don't feel well. That's how Allah's relieving me of my sins. I just did a 6-day shawwal. Before I end it, if you could do your 6-day shawwal, that's 6 day shawwal is like you fasted for the whole entire year. Okay, if you could do that, I was 4 days in, and then I got sick. So I said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is relieving of my sins. Y'all know when y'all get sick, Allah's taking away your sins. So I got sick. I'm not feeling well. But I still said, I got to sit down and talk to my people because I haven't talked to y'all, I feel like. It's been a minute. And I said, I got to tell y'all what has been going on. Right? So I just wanted to come and check bases with y'all. And I'll see you guys next week. Right? With a new episode. We're going to laugh. We're going to kiki with this new episode. Make sure y'all subscribe. Y'all like. Y'all comment below. Y'all like the video. Y'all share the video, okay? I shouldn't have to keep telling y'all this. Like, nah, I'm joking. But anyway, choose happiness, not because it's easy, but because sometimes it's hard. Salamu alaikum, and your girl is out. Alhamdulillah.